What is going on, everybody? Let's take a look at this Sunday NFL day as a whole. We will start with the undefeated teams left in the NFL through 5 weeks, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have an outstanding defense. We all know their defense is at the top tier elite level, and that was no problem for the Chiefs as they win 30-14. Now you look at the offense for the Jags. Blake Bortles drops backs to throw 61 times and has 4 interceptions. He did have over 400 yards, but this Chiefs defense, let's be real, especially over the last couple weeks, they haven't been so good to the point where they should be intercepting you 4 times. They haven't been that lethal. Their offense is why they're so successful. Their offense is so legit. I mean, Pat Mahomes didn't even throw for a touchdown today, and he had a couple interceptions, over 300 plus yards. But, I mean, this Chiefs offense is serious, and they do damage. You can't be throwing 4 interceptions against them. It's not a key to success. It's not what you have on your game plan to win against this team. That's their biggest flaw for me with the Jacksonville Jaguars is their quarterback play. I don't believe in Blake Bortles. I just don't. And the fact that he's dropping back 61 times, that's an issue. I know Leonard Fournette's banged up with the hamstring injury, but that's an issue. That can't happen. So the Chiefs get the win and they stay undefeated. Moving on to the next game, which is the Rams. They get tested. They get tested in Seattle. This was a physical game. Some hard-hitting hits. Some receivers going head-to-head. I mean, this was a hard-hitting game. The Rams are actually down going into the fourth quarter. They scored 9 points in that fourth to win the game 33-31. Todd Gurley with 3 touchdowns. Jared Goff, a couple interceptions, but 300 plus yards on the day. They get to, I mean, that's not an easy place to play. It's loud. There's a lot of energy. Like I said, this was a physical game. Receivers making plays, getting hit hard. But that's a test. They answered. They answered. Down, away, heading into the fourth quarter. They did exactly what they needed to do. Touchdown, field goal, won the football game. They stay undefeated. Next, we go to the Dolphins, and they blow a 17-0 lead to the Bengals. The Bengals were rallying. I mean, you have Michael Johnson with a pick 6 to tie the game. After a field goal and the Bengals take the lead, you have a 19-yard fumble recovery to the house, which pretty much sealed the deal. The Dolphins are coming off of this loss to the Patriots, and to lose in this fashion, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The Bengals are now 4-1. I'm not a huge believer in Andy Dalton either, but with the weapons they have on the outside, A.J. Green with a big night over 100 plus yards, they got the job done, and that's a big-time rally. That's a huge deal for that locker room and the culture inside, and you really can make that into a snowball effect. That's a big-time win if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, and a heartbreaking loss if you're the Dolphins. That's now 2 losses in a row, and that's just, it's not good. It's not good coming off of that Patriots loss. Panthers, Giants. 63-yard field goal for the Carolina Panthers to crush the Giants. And this is a team with the Giants that this actually happened last year. 60-plus yarder with the Philadelphia Eagles in week 3. This is literally heart-crushing. Eli Manning with a bad game. Couple interceptions. Looked horrible. In reality, they couldn't get anything going offensively. They had to have Odell Beckham throw the ball to Saquon Barkley for a big play. That's how they got some offense going. Now, the Giants take the lead late. They really do. They make a push. They take the lead. And just like that, Cam Newton and the fellas move downfield. And they kick a field goal like that to break the hearts of the New York Giants. They just can't find ways to win right now. They can't find it. They got to keep searching. The Browns win in overtime. They win again. Baker Mayfield on his first career start win. His first win as a starter is what I meant to say there. They grind one out in overtime against the Ravens, and the Ravens are a well-respected team right now. They're winning football games. They have a talented roster, a good wide receiver core, and the Browns win it on a field goal that just goes over the field goal, just goes over the post, and they get it, and they win. This is their second win of the season. I will say this, one player who is literally sticking out to me is Denzel Ward. I criticized the Browns for Baker Mayfield and for Denzel Ward. I just thought there were better options on the table at the time of the draft. And both of those players are stepping up and they're winning football games. So who am I? Who am I? But wow, what an outstanding day for the Browns. I like when the Browns win. We all have to at this point, because you got to look at them and just think it's time for them to finally turn the page. They have to turn the page. This is just miserable. It's miserable. And they get their second win of the season, which is awesome. At home, too, with the Dog Pound. What an electric place to play. The next game, it's a little bit heartbreaking to see. Mason Crosby missed 5 field goals and an extra point today. That's 16 points that would have won the game. Aaron Rodgers was very upset, obviously. You can see his body language. He's hanging the head. He was just, what can I do? I'm putting our team in the field position. We got to knock these down. And he hugs Mason Crosby because he knows he feels for him. This is a veteran guy. That's a lot. Most of these veteran guys, okay, they miss one, they bounce back. They might miss 2 or whatever, they bounce back. We saw that in the Vikings game today. Mason Crosby did not bounce back. He hit one in garbage time that didn't matter. But he missed 5 field goals and an extra point today, which essentially costed them the game against the Lions. Oh, it was heartbreaking to see. It really was. Oh, man. The Cardinals get their first win of the season behind Josh Rosen. First play from scrimmage, they're throwing a 75-yard play that scores a touchdown, and they get the job done, and they win. They got 5 takeaways, and they beat the 49ers. And this 49ers team is just banged up. There's no doubt about it. They're just banged up. They are all over the place mentally, and they had this big expectations to be something a little bit more than they were in the past, and just injuries after injuries after injuries after injuries, and they just can't get away from it. Josh Rosen gets his first win in the NFL. The Jets and the Broncos. The Jets win 34-16, and it was just big plays after big plays that got them scoring points. You had Robbie Anderson with some outstanding speed to score some touchdowns. Crowell out there running the football well. Sam Darnold with some touchdown passes as well, and they just beat the Broncos. The Broncos did not have it tonight. Their defense is supposed to carry the pride of that squad, and they didn't have it in New York as the Jets get the win. The Bills walk it off with a field goal against the Titans. You have the Chargers completely blowing out the Raiders, and what's going on right now with John Gruden. He's clearly not happy with what's going on there. The Steelers offense gets going against Atlanta. They win 41-17. James Conner with 2 touchdowns. You have AB with 2 touchdowns. They clicked, and we know the Steelers defense have been getting criticized too. They only allowed 17 points to an Atlanta Falcons team, which we all know has very high talent at the wide receiver and quarterback position. So big win for the Steelers. And then the last game of the day was the Sunday night football game between the Houston Texans and the Cowboys. That goes to overtime. Throughout normal time, the Cowboys' red zone defense was pretty big. Late in this game, you had an opportunity for the Texans to win it, and Deshaun Watson throws an interception. You can see he's very mobile, but he takes some big-time hits. He takes some hits that make me cringe and should not happen as a quarterback. Dak Prescott was making J.J. Watt miss. Making all these defenders miss. Throwing the ball downfield. But at the end of the day, in overtime, DeAndre Hopkins, with 3 spin moves on one play, brings the ball down into the territory of the Cowboys, and the Texans win in walk-off fashion with a field goal in overtime. So that was the day here with football in the NFL. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.